Good morning, YouTube. Got me and my boy Vinny out here again. So just going ahead and doing our second video of our channel, Faith, Fasting, and Fitness. If you haven't checked out my first video, I highly recommend you go watch it after this one and find out a little bit more about what this channel is all about. But today I really just want to get into the basics of the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, and how I used it to lose 100 pounds. So ketogenic diet, pretty straightforward, is a diet high in fat, low in carbs, moderate in proteins. The percentages, you're looking at 70 to 75% fat calories. You're looking at 20 to 25% protein calories based off of where you are with that. And then the last 5% you would make up would be out of carbs, mostly low glycemic carbs, so not a lot of sugar, a lot of things that are going to spike your insulin. And that pretty much leads me into why the ketogenic diet works, and that's because you're reducing your body's insulin. Insulin is a fat storage hormone. It does other things as well too, other than store fat. It helps retain water within the kidneys. That's why you need to eat a high salt consumption when you're on the ketogenic diet, so that way you help with your kidneys and the retention of water. But that's a lot of other information that we'll get into as the channel progresses. The most important thing is the reason the ketogenic diet works is because with high carb diets, our bodies become resistant to insulin. Anytime your body has sugar within your blood, your pancreas produces insulin, the insulin travels through your blood, it helps put the sugars and carbohydrates into your muscle tissues and throughout your body so it can be used as an energy source, and then excess carbohydrates are stored as fat. So your body really can't do anything else with it. You have fat storage cells, and so when you eat too much carbs, your body actually just stores carbs as fat anyways. But on top of that, when you eat a high carb diet and you also consume fat, well, then your body doesn't use that fat because it says, hey, we have a ready available energy source, so we're just going to store the fat, and then any unused carbs we're going to store as fat. And then the more fat you store, the more resistant you are to insulin, so the less responsive your body is when you produce insulin, so then you store more fat, and then you start to get more blood sugar levels constant, and so that's how you end up with diabetes. On top of a fat accumulation in men, we have a tendency to naturally increase our estrogen. It's a side effect of fat accumulation. It's a vicious cycle because then you also increase the amount of cortisol, which causes your body to store more fat. And that's why you may be on a low-calorie diet to where you're working out and exercising and your body just can't seem to lose weight. It's because your body doesn't know how to use fat as an energy source. It never has, and until you teach it to do so, it won't. So how is eating fat going to help you lose fat? I know it sounds counterproductive and seems very against what we're taught as far as health and nutrition goes. Eat a lot of carbs, eat moderate protein, and eat very little fat. Well, they got it backwards, and it's unfortunate, but it's obviously why we have such a high amount of overweight health problems in our country. But that doesn't mean that we can't fix it. That doesn't mean that you as an individual can't fix it, because I'm telling you right now, you absolutely can. But you have to have faith that the diet works to be able to get through the struggles of adapting your body. So they call it keto flu, and that's the lack of energy that you have in the first few weeks as you cut carbs out of your body, and your body learns to use fat as energy, or get fat adapted is one of the common terms that is used in the ketogenic world. But being able to change your calories and get a higher fat diet and lower carb diet is going to allow you to start using the fat for energy. And then you do intermittent fasting, which is where you only eat for 8 hours out of the day and you don't eat for the other 16. And I'm talking about 0 calories, black coffee, tea without any sweeteners, water. But other than that, I mean, don't eat. You don't need to eat. You don't need to eat 3 times a day. You don't need to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's a lie. It's 100% not necessary. There are days where I only eat 1 meal a day. There are days where I eat 4 meals in a day. I vary it, I spread it out, and it really just depends on knowing your body and finding out where you are. But it took me about a month to get fat adapted. Once I got fat adapted, I started doing the intermittent fasting. So Intermittent fasting is where you say your last meal was at 8 p.m. last night, and you know that you only want to eat for an 8-hour window and have a 16-hour fasting window. So you don't eat your first meal the next day until noon, okay? And so maybe you start with a larger eating window at first. Maybe you do 10 hours and you slowly, wean yourself off of the need to constantly eat throughout the day. But it's in the times that you're fasting and that your body knows to use fat now for energy that you start tapping into the fat storage that you have. Whether it's in your stomach, your thighs, your hips, your back. Once you start getting your fat accumulation in your stomach starts to get full, that's when you start storing in other parts of your body. It's also one of the last places that you will lose fat in your body. So the fasting with the ketogenic diet, I feel like is 100% necessary, at least if you are largely overweight and you know that you have a lot of fat to lose. Once you're at a healthy point, the ketogenic diet still has its value in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. I'm not looking to lose any more weight, and I'm currently looking to put on weight in the form of muscle mass. But I'm still following a ketogenic diet, and I'm just increasing my calories and still maintaining within those ketogenic caloric intake values as far as percentages go. So like I said, 70, 25, and 5. Fasting itself isn't easy, obviously. I've done 24-hour fasts, I've done 48-hour fasts. Like I said, the most recent fast I did was 2.5 days, and it's in those times where I used the power of prayer to call on the name of Christ and to sustain me. And it's not that it's not the idea that he is going to make you not feel hungry, okay? Like prayer and fasting, when you're praying, abstaining from worldly things, it's not about the physical, it's about the spiritual and the mindset. So fasting isn't easy, especially if you're not used to doing it, especially if you're used to eating on a regular basis. Getting through all the things that you have to do is a lot easier when you give up a little bit of yourself and call a little bit more upon him. And the more you do it, the more you'll feel his presence. And the more you feel his presence, the easier it gets. Once you start holding yourself accountable to somebody higher than yourself, you start to see the ease of knowing what your values are and understanding that sometimes your values and morals, even though with good intention, may not be up to the values and morals of the higher judge. And you will definitely come to know God more in fasting and prayer. So it all goes hand in hand. Ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, and sometimes longer fasting once you're used to and accustomed to it. But it works. So it works. You've seen videos, you've seen other people's reviews, you've seen other people talk about how they've had success. You may know someone who has had success with the ketogenic diet, and you've maybe had people telling you to try it out and you're just not really too sure yet. Well, the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. If you plant it and have faith in it, it will grow. And the more that you nurture it, the bigger it will grow. And we're talking about your life, your health, and growing your relationship with God. It's so much more than just getting back into shape. It's learning to grow in the spirit. And like I said, this journey is amazing, and I hope to keep sharing it with everyone. So I wanted to close this video out with 2 things. And first one is Rosie the pug, because she's just the cutest little thing ever. And she's definitely the baby of the house. But the second thing I wanted to close it with was a challenge to you, okay? And that is to share this video. Share it with somebody you know. Share it with somebody who you've talked to them about the keto diet and maybe they heard you but didn't really follow through on it. Share it with people who, are looking for a difference in their life and they just need a little bit of words of encouragement. But share this video, because I only have positive things to share with others, and I feel like the world could use a little bit of positivity, and I'm just happy to be able to spread what I learned with other people. So if you have any questions, I want you to go ahead and feel free to email me directly at faithfastingandfitness@gmail.com. I'll go ahead and put the email address in the description below. And if you have any questions, if you have any insight, or even if you just need prayers for where you are on your journey, I would be more than happy to pray for each and every person who emails me. And God bless.